Hey guys, it's Chaos World here. I made a cute little video for this, but it wouldn't upload. Sorry about that. So I made a little slideshow for you guys. So for the backstories, we're starting with Adriana. She was born in Germany, and from the world video, you'd know that there's civil war there. So her parents died in a bombing when she was 4, and she was left alone with her older brother, Kay. And since the government didn't really know how long they'd be warring for, they had set up these foster homes that train kids to become soldiers. So, so they were put in there, and when she was 10, her military training had start. In the foster home, it was very strict, and she didn't have very much freedom. She didn't like it. And the only thing keeping her slightly happy and keeping her going was her brother. So when she hit 16, her and her brother had to split because he's 3 years older than her. So he got sent out as a spy, and she was only in the reserve, so she had to stay back. So when he was gone, they'd send each other notes, and she'd update him about what's going on at home. And she started to become depressed and cold and emotionless, and mostly from the training that she had to endure. She's pretty much losing herself. So Kay became worried about her personality change when he was receiving these letters. So one day, Kay overheard that his sister is gonna be put out in the front lines because she had turned 19, and he knew that she would die if she's put out there because the mostly put people on the front lines are kind of like human shields. So he returned and he pulled some strings so he could get away from his post and get to her before his general would. He told her that he had come back because he had to give her a mission which required her to leave the country in secret. She believed him and believed everything he told her. So he snuck her onto an old friend's boat and sent Adriana off to a location that he thinks only he knows, which is the island. Before he left, he told Adriana that she's there to study the life forms there and write reports for data and for anything that would give their side an advantage in the war. So he headed back to his post. She got on the ship, was convinced into a crate, and then was thrown onto the island upon arrival, so she doesn't know how to get back. She opened the crate and saw a strange looking monkey. The monkeys pulled her away from the crate before she could reach for her gun, and the monkey carried her over its shoulder until it reached its cave where there was tons more. It turned out that these monkeys could speak, and the one that found her was called Mama. She wanted to fight Mama, but had trouble breathing. And that's when she explained that there's a strange oxygen to carbon dioxide gradient, so the island doesn't have very much oxygen. And in order for her to survive, she needs to wear this magical bracelet, which they gave her, and the bracelet acts as an oxygen tank, but it's endless. So for her first few days and weeks, she was really untrusting and constantly on her guard, trying to think about getting away from the monkeys or eradicating them. But the longer she stayed, the more willing she became to interact with the monkeys, get to know about them, and started to break out of her military shell and get back to her regular self. And as she did that, she started to take off more and more of her uniform until she's only wearing her undergarments. The monkeys started to make her outfits, and she wore them even though a lot of the times it didn't fit properly, and she's was happy, free, and what they call a jungle girl. Hence, why she refuses to wear pants. And but all of this had one flaw. She deeply yearned for a human companion that she could relate to. Her happy vacation mission started to seem like a sorrowful sentence. So then moving on to Camille. Camille is an orphan, and when she was her before she was born, since she's born in America, so they're in war with North Korea. And her mom is American, her dad is Korean. So during the war, the government thought, like, hey, you guys are suspicious. You might be working for the other side. So they put them into a concentration camp. Her mom was pregnant at the time, so she had her in the camp. And she lived there. And when she was 5, her parents died in a horrible fire. But she didn't really have any reaction, even though she witnessed the fire, everything. She was just okay with it, and they thought it was really weird. Then later on, the camp was finally discovered by a police force, and they shut it down. So Camille and all the other children were taken to an orphanage. At this orphanage, she built a makeshift family along with a discovered family member. They were all those kids that she made makeshift families with. They were the unadopted kids, or the quote-unquote broken kids that nobody wanted. Although Camille and her sister, who she found, had people that wanted to adopt them, they wouldn't go because they stayed loyal to that makeshift family. And Camille is very bubbly and easy to get along with, and she managed to get on the island because on her birthday she received a mysterious gift from the sponsors of the orphanage that had this anklet, so, and a ticket to a cruise that around islands. So she's loving adventure. She decided to go, and the ship made a wrong turn, and they ended up on that island. So when she went to explore, she met Adriana, but didn't have the heart to leave when the time came because she noticed that Adriana was lonely. Since Camille is an adult, she's able to stay wherever she wants, and she can't go back to the orphanage because she's now an adult. So she decided, why not make this my home? So she sends her family messages via bird, inviting them to come live at the island or visit when they can. And during her stay on the island, she sees Adriana as an older sister figure, is very playful with her. She does have a dark side that she doesn't reveal in front of anyone, which is connected to the fire. And most of anyone understands Adriana's homesickness because she misses her sister very dearly as she misses her brother. Naya, she has a very long, complicated backstory because during part of her childhood, she was once in Miss Emily's School for Excellence. Pretty much, to long story short, for that little episode, she did escape, but she already lost her powers by the time she escaped. She pretty much had the ability to command spirits, and she could do whatever she wanted with them and tell them to do things. But she didn't know why, but she never got to figure it out because she was sent to the school. And from the things that happened to her, she went AWOL, and she got a spirit to erase her memories. So she has no recollection at all of what happened. So she was, after her experience there, she was in an orphanage. So she was born in America. She went to the school in the England. Then she was adopted by two Japanese people, so she lived in Japan for the rest of her life, pretty much. So her parents happened to be the sponsors of Camille's orphanage, and they are the owners of the island. So Naya visits the island every year to go on vacation, and she used to quote unquote enjoy herself, which is she used to go there and send her parents a detailed letter, aka report of her trip. This letter includes how long it took her to get there, the state of the island, the climate, the inhabitants, the carbon dioxide levels, etc. So after the first year of going to the island, she hated it ever since because she didn't have any people there and she got bored. So when she arrived on the island as her final trip before telling her parents that she's done working for them, she's not going back to the island again, she ran into Adriana, or rather Adriana ran into her. So Naya immediately tried to bully Adriana, act all big and bad. However, Adriana is nothing but kind to Naya, and her fake personality fades. Naya likes to act like she's older than everyone and she's in charge, but reality she's younger than everyone by 2 years. And she likes to pick on Camille for fun. And also, she likes to be pretty much around Adriana because she's calm. And when she has to go back, because she does have to go back to Japan, she leaves in her little report, she leaves out that Camille is still there from her cruise and that Adriana's on the island because she knows that her parents will probably try to get them off. So when she leaves, she returns very often and she returns with gifts and clothes for the two. And mostly that is a troublemaker. So when she does come back, there's always some kind of craziness happening because she likes to get into trouble there. And pretty much, if there's like when they're exploring the island and they encounter any hostile creatures or anything, Naya is most likely to try to protect the two because she likes to take that bigger sister role. And she's a bit of a tomboy. So that is mostly it for my three girls. I hope you enjoyed this story, and all of you have a great day. Until next time, bye.